Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our program is brought to you by Medic Regional Blood Center. Folks, there's no greater gift you can give back to your community here at the holiday season than the gift of life-saving blood. 29 hospitals in the area use Medic Regional Blood Center and their stores. And I have gone down there, I've given blood, and let me tell you, you're in and you're out. It's easy. It doesn't even take 45 minutes. And they send you an email after the fact, at least I got one, that said your blood went to someone who had been injured in a car accident. It was a trauma center. And it kind of puts it in perspective to know that, all right, that was some good that I did. And all of you can do that. Everybody out there can do that. Medicblood.org to learn more, to learn where you can go and give blood. Do it this holiday season. It's a special thing. Medic Regional Blood Center. All right. Last night, Jeremy Pruitt drove home the point that he's been making since the Alabama game. He wants new players. Last night, his comment, one of his quotes was, "We have to recruit depth. If a young man wants an opportunity to have a place to play in the SEC really early, this would be a good place to start." Okay. We wondered after the Alabama game when he started to make those comments, how does this team react to that? You know, and the idea from most players I've talked to, including our guys, the response is, well, that'd motivate me. But as you and I talked yesterday, most of our guys are pretty good over here.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
they're
at a little different level.
Right. There are other guys on a team. You got 85 guys. Not everybody's motivated the same way. Some people might take their ball and go home. Take a look at some juniors who could possibly depart this offseason. We have a graphic here. Look at this. Now, I'm just naming some guys. This is at random. Doesn't mean anything, but Daniel Batuli, Marquez Callaway, who put up a cryptic tweet the other day about running through the tee. Juwan Jennings, Darren Kirkland Jr., Drew Richmond, Daryl Taylor, Nigel Warrior. I'm not talking about these guys' professional careers. You know, kids often have views of their abilities and hopes that might not mesh with what NFL scouts say. But just looking at that list and other guys who might be on that junior list, my question to you is, could the bill come due now on all this, I'm going to get new guys and replace you? If you're a junior and you've been listening to this all year, do you want to stick around and be replaced and have to listen to another year of this? I don't know that's going to happen. I think it's worth discussing, though. Thoughts?
I think it's definitely possible, and especially for your receivers, because those are the two guys that look like if they came out,
Callaway especially.
Get drafted early, but they would get drafted probably. You know, the other guys, yeah, there have been players leave Tennessee in the past to go into the draft that never got drafted. You know, it could happen. You're not happy. You're tired of playing football. You're tired of playing for this program.
Sure. Or you think you're going to get drafted and you don't.
Yeah, Kirkland, remember, planned to transfer in the spring and then changed his mind, obviously ended up staying at Tennessee. But that list that was just shown, those are the guys that you're hoping can step up and lead the way. What if that's not the case?
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm getting at. I know there are people out there if you want to go get out of here. And there's talk on Twitter and social media last night and all the message boards about the purge this roster. This is no longer 1995 where 40 go, you can sign 40. You got 25 you can get, and they're all going to be freshmen at that point, or JUCOs. You don't want to lose some of your good guys. So the idea of don't let the door hit you, back off on that with some of these cats. Your thoughts, Jimmy, on whether or not some guys may leave based on his message for the back half of the year?
I think that it's possible that some juniors could leave. I think it's even more probable that some others will leave. You only had 3 departures last year. One of them was Darmody, who went to Houston. You kicked off Thaxton. There will be, I think, more players that leave the program between now and maybe the spring. So, yeah, I do expect some departures. How many will be juniors, I don't know, but I think you'll see a small purging of the roster.
One thing I wonder, is it more than 2 players on that list? And if it is, you have a problem. You know, and then with some of the comments Jeremy Pruitt has made, he's also talking to the players that he feels have bought in. Help us bring some others in that have the attitude like you. So, I mean, I can see that, but John, I agree with what you're saying as well. I mean, when you're calling them out, now it's like, do you give them, you know, like the olive branch and say, hey, let's get back in the weight room. We didn't need the bowl as much as we thought. We've got to get stronger and better now.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say I'm going to get a bunch of new guys in here and replace these others.
Right.
if I'm sitting there, I'm wondering, well, wait a second, am I one of the guys that's going to be replaced?
Yeah.
Would I be better leaving now? At least I've got some tape for the NFL. If I stick around and some freshman comes in here. Now, and I know what people are thinking. Well, you don't want guys who think like that. Great, but out of 85 players, you're going to have some, I think.
And you keep talking about bringing in 25 new ones. How many programs in the SEC rely on that to get quality contributions from the majority of those 25 new ones?
Well, let me ask you this.
The bad ones.
He makes that point consistently that he's got to get good players. He also said, last night he said, I've coached to get this team, this offense at Vanderbilt last year when I was at Alabama, and he kind of hinted that we kicked their butts. I just need the talent here. True enough, you do. I agree. But I never heard Gary Pinkel at Missouri walking around saying, I got to get new talent in here. He just went out and won with 2 and 3 stars.
Yeah, Alabama also had layers of developed talent.
Yeah.
So guys walking in right away are not going to be what Alabama had, not even close.
But I mean, I just wonder about that message because it puts a huge. You better have a signing day that wows the masses because you've made that now. It's already big, but now you've made it even bigger because that's all you've talked about. When guys like Darren Mason aren't saying, "Well, I can't win because we don't have the talent." They just kicked your butt. He's not talking about needing more talent.
When he made the statements, I thought it was I think it's a bigger negative now in 2020 hindsight than when he said it. In my opinion, I think it's a bigger negative. I think it probably is something that just shouldn't have been said outside the house.
It's just dangerous. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't know that I can't put a finger on it. Cost you games, but I don't think it helped you win any games.
And to me, the temptation also there to really go heavier on some junior college players. I mean, you're not going to turn this thing
Because those always work out so well for Tennessee.
Dan Mullen and Mississippi State are about the only program that's made up living off JUCOs.
I think Tennessee's probably 50-50 at best, with JUCOs producing.
No, I think that's been very generous.
Well, in recent years.
Yeah.
It's less than that in recent years. You
Yes.
go back to 1990-91,
Yeah,
the percentage was much higher.
All right. When we come back, what do we expect for next year? How big of a jump is this Tennessee team going to take next year? We're going to project in a 12-game regular season how many wins will Tennessee have in 2019. That's next. Come on back on the Sports Source.